I don't know what the deal is. Don't ask me.
I'm not touching anything.
Are you ready?
Girl, you see what you're doing?
What?
I'm ready.
We can stop and start. It'd be nice if we can get through at least all this stuff.
We are recording this episode 0, and it is going to be what we write.
Debacle.
I'm ready.
Exactly. 2 producers trying to produce all the technical stuff by themselves.
Trying to be tech support and post supervisors.
Tech support. I mean, this is like, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Wait, Leslie, hold on 1 second.
Are you ready for this? Welcome to Producers Confidential, episode 0. Have you ever wondered what it's like to make a TV show or a movie? I mean, really, like what happens before the cameras roll, you know, behind the scenes? You have? Well, good. Then you're in the right place, because Producers Confidential is a super exclusive podcast that takes you into the world of entertainment, where you'll hear real stories from the stars, the producers, and their crew. And we ought to know, we're your hosts. I'm Leslie Farrell.
And I'm Dorothy Turan. Leslie and I met while producing 5 seasons of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And combined, we've produced hundreds of hours of entertainment, from reality series, documentaries, and indie films, to music videos, commercials, and live events. If you can name it, we've probably made it.
And now you can tune in as we talk to other industry insiders about their experiences. People like the one and only Shaquille O'Neal, actor Paul Sorvino from the film Goodfellas, and stars from some of your favorite reality shows like Bravo's Below Deck. Not to mention some really freaky stuff from the producers of Portals to Hell. And that's just the beginning.
And we'll share some of our own crazy production experiences along the way.
You mean like the time me, you, Teresa, and Dolores all went to dinner and Joe Giudice called in from prison? I mean, can you believe that's how I actually met him for the first time?
Oh my God, that was crazy. I mean, I'll never forget that introduction. But that wasn't the only wild story, Leslie. I mean, remember, you are a network executive on Jersey Housewives. You are our boss. And you were back at the office working, and we
chilling.
You were chilling, and we were not chilling, because we were traveling all over the country, all over the world, actually, you know, trying to make these cast trips happen. I mean, do you remember Cabo? Do you remember what happened on that trip?
I do indeed.
I feel like it's only my luck. Like, everyone in the world was trying to fly out of Cabo during that time, and we were flying into Cabo, but it was a hurricane. Literally, we flew into the eye of a hurricane.
Oh my God, I remember.
And who knows that there's going to be a hurricane, and they're like, yes, we're going anyway, but that's what we did.
Right.
And then we get there and we expect to have these beautiful, clear blue water and gorgeous sunny Cabo skies. And instead it is like a freaking monsoon. I mean, the rain was torrential.
Oh my God.
It was so bad. And we're trying to figure out, what are we going to do in replace of all these amazing outdoor activities?
Right.
We couldn't figure that out. And it was chaos all around. You called to see how we were. And we got on a conference call with you, and we were like, hey guys, how's it going? And we were like, hey, Leslie.
I'm like, how's Cabo, man? You guys made it in. It's all fine.
We're like, yeah, it's a little bit, it's raining a bit. We knew there was going to be a hurricane, but it's raining a bit, but it's fine. We're going to settle in. We've got a couple things to figure out, and, we're going to figure it out. And you were totally happy with that. And we're like, okay, great.
Well, yeah, you sounded so confident. Dorothy, you were like, this is it. It's going to be great. We got the women are here. Everybody's happy.
Yes.
And we're going to start shooting. And so I'm like, okay. I mean, what do I know? I'm up here.
No, right, for sure. I mean, thank God there was not you were not FaceTiming, but we hang up the phone with you, and literally it is chaos ensuing all around. I mean, one morning we're all in the hotel lobby trying to start our day, trying to figure out how we are going to shoot our cast in literally a monsoon. The ladies are waiting for us to give them direction. They're sitting in a van outside of the hotel. I am in the lobby of the hotel with the entire crew. The showrunner and I are in this huge debacle of trying to figure out what we're going to do. We have no idea what to do also. And we need to shoot some driving shots. We need to get some basic things done. And it's a mess.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's the inside the hotel shoot. I mean, we shot that hotel up and down. Thank God it was a gorgeous hotel. But, we made it out of that. We made it out of that unscathed.
Yeah, that's totally crazy. I mean, I thought the footage was great. So, it was a really fun cast trip, and people should check out that show because it was really, really fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know how we ended up in such a crazy business. It's just like having to shoot in hurricanes and
I know.
and security hanging around and everyone's telling you what to do. It's like, it's really, really nutty.
I know. I mean, Leslie, how did you ever wind up working in reality TV?
Well, it's a really simple story. I was going to be a tax accountant.
Like, do people's taxes?
Well, more like a tax lawyer, you know what I mean? I was actually in my junior year of college, and I was looking for law schools because, that seemed appropriate. I don't know.
Right.
And my roommate came home one day and said, the NPR station is looking for a radio announcer. You have a great voice. You have to go apply. And I was like, never doing that. Her name's Amy, by the way. I want to shout out because I tag her all the time as responsible for the debacle, which was my career.
I mean, at least Amy got you out of being a tax accountant, because I cannot see that. I cannot see you as a tax accountant.
And I was a really bad accounting student. Okay. I am not lying. I was a bad accounting student. So believe me, all CPAs just breathed a sigh of relief. So I go down to the NPR station and I'm like, I'm not going to get this job. Anyway, I go in there and I talk to the guy, and I swear to you, this is true. Walked out of there with my own show, opera and classical music. Yep. So for the last year and a half of undergrad, I had this radio program on Saturdays, and then it changed my attitude and decided I wanted to go into broadcasting. And so I went to grad school for broadcasting instead.
Wow.
Yeah. So that set me on the road, and I really got into documentaries. I was a documentary filmmaker for many, many years, worked on a lot of stuff for PBS. That took me to HBO. I, won an Emmy and a Peabody.
You're so fancy.
I am fancy.
You're very fancy.
Right? And I made some really interesting films. I mean, that's one of the great things about this business, regardless of what genre you're in, but certainly in docs, where you get to meet interesting people and do weird behind the scenes things, like behind the scenes at the Hearst Castle. There really are some secret hallways, and there really is a gold toilet. I ought to know.
What you do with the gold toilet, Leslie?
I am not going to tell you. That will remain confidential.
Confidential.
I did a couple of years of celebrity interviews, so spent a lot of time in Hollywood and stuff like that. And the craziness, that's part of what's crazy about this business, right? So I had my own little company. I was doing some stuff from MTV or whatever. Get a call out of the blue, really from someone I don't even know. It was like a referral to a referral, whatever. Oh. Yeah, because Spike Lee's wife, Tanya Lewis-Lee, was producing with some producing partners a new dramatic series, and they got my name, and I had no experience in dramatic TV, but for whatever reason, thank God they did. They hired me for that job, and I produced a dramatic series with Spike Lee and a bunch of other, LeVar Burton and other people like that.
Miracles Boys?
That was Miracles Boys, yes. Nice. And that was a fabulous experience, wonderful people. And then years later, I was making an independent documentary film, actually, called Electoral Dysfunction, on the history of voting in America, which is sort of interesting because it's not what you think. Anyway, Mo Rocca was the host, and we were making that, and it was the 2008 election, which is, let's face it, 2008 election, unbelievable that that's what we chose.
Yeah, wow.
But the whole the American economy tanked. Remember, that was a really bad time.
It was a really bad time. Ugh, really bad time.
And, you're an independent filmmaker, and you have different agreements with people to come in for post financing and stuff like that. But the whole world shrunk. There was no money. Yeah. So we lost all the financing that we were going to get. So we ended up sinking all the money in the company just to get it in the can.
Oh, my goodness. Right. Just to get it done.
Yeah, because you're shooting. It's an election. You can't stop shooting. Right. So we got it in the can. I had to, close my company. We didn't eventually get the show finished, and it's on Netflix, in case you want plug. So then I ended up having to take kind of like a square job, meaning working for someone else. Right. And so I was heading up original programming for NYC Media. I was living in New York at the time. Did that for a few years. The economy came back. Things started to get a little better. And then again, lo and behold, someone I had worked with 15 years before calls me out of the blue and says there's a VP job, an executive in charge of production is the technical title, at Bravo, and I think you should apply for it. You'd be really great. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I've never produced reality shows, but then again, I'd never produced a dramatic series. And I'd never, it's not like, well, I'll go apply. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Right.
So I got the job. So I ended up at Bravo for 5 years and was the executive in charge of Housewives of New Jersey, Manhood with Children, and Southern Charm, a bunch of shows. But that's how you and I met.
That's where we fell in love.
That's where we fell in love. And you know how I got there. How did you get there?
Oh my gosh. I went down the weirdest, unplanned, windy road ever. I started my career in reality television on the Maury Povich show. Remember Maury Povich?
Oh my God.
He is not the father. But here's the thing. When I got to work on the Maury Povich show, this was right when he made the switch, right? Because remember, he was hard news.
Oh, right.
For all of his career.
Married to Connie Chung.
Yep. That's right. Like that. They were hard news anchors. And I don't know what possessed him to make this like complete, 180, but he did. So I worked at the Maury Povich show, but I didn't even really work on the Maury Povich show. I was the switchboard operator at the studio.
The switchboard operator?
Not receptionist, switchboard operator.
I love it.
Not one phone. There was a switchboard. I had those big, ugly headphones on, and there were like 40 different call buttons. And sometimes they would so it was me and like a friend of mine. We were freshmen in college at that point. And like we took over the switchboard and it was just us.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Like all the crazy guests came in. But I have to say, it sounds like how much fun could it be being a switchboard operator? It was like the time of my life. I had so much fun on that job. It was my first introduction into like crew people and cameras, and even just like being around it by being, in that kind of like third party way was like such a fabulous like introduction. I was so excited to do it. So did that for a long time through actually most of college. And then I went to Sony Music Studios and I got hired as a graphics assistant. So I did that. That was probably the best job ever because so there was a post-production house and a recording studio all in the same facility. So, and Tommy Mottola was the president of Sony at the time. He had just married Mariah.
Back then. Oh my God, Mariah. She was hot, girl.
It was so glamorous. It was like such the heyday.
Right.
And so I was there. I mean, we would see like Jennifer Lopez was in the studio recording her very first album when I worked there.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
On the 6th. She was dating Diddy. So there would be like Diddy and J-Lo sightings in the hallways outside the studio all the time. Right. The hip hop artists would come and like do overnight sessions. So that was where like DMX and Fat Joe and Big Pun. I mean, it was just like a blast. It was really so much fun.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And then, after that, I then started kind of ascending into production. I worked on Room Raiders. Remember that MTV show Room Raiders? Where I mean, not that you could make that show today in television.
Not in a million years.
Not right. But like, so, it's all about teenage kids and like basically like a blind date for teenage kids. And the kid gets to guess who they're going to date after they've like searched the girl or the guy's bedroom.
My God.
And then like the kid would get thrown into a van and we would abduct them on camera and drive away with them. And there was like,
you'd be under the jail today.
God, under the jail. And there was like, we'd had like a black light kit and we'd like look under the sheets and we were looking for like disgusting. It was just gross. But it was looking at black light on sheets of teenagers. Like, can you imagine doing that today? But the show was so popular because our lead-in was Punked with Ashton Kutcher on Sunday nights.
Oh, that's a great lead-in.
Everybody watched Room Raiders because everybody had just watched Punk.
Right.
So it was, it was great for the show, but I did that for 3 seasons. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then I line produced commercials for 10 years, which was great. Commercials are like you get in and you get out. It's very like, I mean, they're long hours, but it's like super cut and dry versus because
it's so scripted, right? Commercials are like it's so short.
It's so short, 30 seconds to the frame. You get in, you do it, you get out. And stuff happens that you don't expect for sure, but there's like no fooling around. Like you do it and then you're wrapped.
Yeah.
And then I got the call to line produce Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh.
And that's how I started on Jersey Housewives.
You went right from commercials to Jersey?
I went right from commercials to Jersey. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I never knew that about you.
That's right.
See, learn something new every day.
Oh, you know what? No, that's not true. I didn't go right from commercials to, I went right from commercials to Animal Planet. I had an Animal Planet job before.
What did you do? What did you do on Animal Planet?
Too Cute. It's all about, do you remember Too Cute? It's all about.
I watched those shows.
Oh my God. I totally forgot that. I did 4 seasons of Too Cute.
Oh my God. Those little puppies.
Puppies and Kittens. My producing partner, Sherry, and I did that for such a long time. And that was actually super fun too. I mean, I am not an animal person really, but I like, that was like a really fun show.
From a distance, you're good. Like when they're cute, little.
Do it. Yeah. So I wanted to do that. And then I became their executive in charge of production. And then I went to Jersey Housewives. So I went to Jersey right after that. And then that's where we met. And
that's how we ended up at LGM.
That's
Lawrence
right.
Grace Media.
Lauren Grace Media. That's right.
Now, let me just say something.
Yes.
Lauren Grace Media is your brainchild.
It is.
Your name is not Lauren, and your name is not Grace.
My name is not Lauren or Grace. My name is not Lauren or Grace. So Lauren Grace Media, Lauren Grace are the middle names of both of my children, both of my daughters. So my oldest is Bradley Lauren, and my youngest is Layla Grace. So I just took both of their middle names, Lauren Grace Media.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting because so we have a 9-year-old and a 21-year-old. When I told my 21-year-old that I was naming our production company after her, literally she was like, cool. And that's what she said. So, and I had this whole speech about like legacy and like the future. And she was like, that's cool. And that was it. So,
and just like left the room.
Got no mommy cool points for that, but it's all good.
Oh my, that's hilarious. You gotta love kids. I don't know.
I know, you gotta love it.
Yeah. And so that's us. We're Lauren Grace Media, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So guys, make sure you check out Producers Confidential each week for a new episode where we'll talk to producers, talent, directors, athletes, glam squads, and crew for a real behind the scenes look at what it takes to make some of your favorite shows and movies.
We'll be launching this summer, so watch out for the announcement. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Until then, keep it confidential.